Morning, everybody. We are doing geometry day 2. We're going to look at all at angles today. This might be a review. If it is, great. If not, you're going to learn something, okay? All right, so what is an angle? I think we looked at maybe a couple on here yesterday. So we had this little guy, this one over here. I'm going to zoom out for you here. So what was this? A point with a line coming out of it that goes on forever. Think of the sun. That's a ray, right? So that's a ray that extends out of a point. Well, what if I take that same point and add another ray? So two rays that emerge from the same point. This is an angle, okay? Now let's pretend like I didn't draw that one. Maybe I could draw it going up this direction. Doesn't that kind of look like a right angle that I bet you've heard of? So, boom, it could slide right in there. Or I can make it bigger than a right angle, and I could actually go away. So if you look, now my two rays are going away from each other. So this would be the obtuse angle, or be greater than a right angle, okay? So that's just what an angle is. One point that has two rays coming out of it. Maybe they're going the same direction, maybe they're going 90 degrees, maybe they're going opposite ways entirely, okay? All right, so the one I like to talk about first is the good old right angle, okay? And if you printed out your paper, there's right angles everywhere. I'm looking around the room here. There's right angles on the bulletin board, on the posters, on the wall, on the whiteboard. This Post-it note, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 right angles, okay? A rectangle has 4 right angles. A square would have 4 right angles. And if you have a piece of paper, you can kind of use it as an angle measuring tool. So if I want to look at this angle right here, maybe I could take my Post-it note. I know this is a right angle. What if I put it right in this little slot right here? Gotta make sure you can see it. Doesn't that fit perfectly? Okay. So when one angle comes one direction and the other one goes the opposite direction. So in other words, maybe one is vertical and the other one's horizontal, or vertical and horizontal going this way, okay? So they have to be 90 degrees apart, okay? And if you move it in just a little bit, wouldn't it be like 89 degrees or 88 or 87? So it's not quite 90 degrees, okay? So a right angle is a 90-degree angle, and a good way to prove it or to show it is to put this little box in here. That means that's a right angle. That's 90 degrees, okay? Let's find some more. So if I look around, what do you think? Probably smaller, probably bigger. What about this one? Well, it doesn't really matter which way it's turned as long as the lines are, or the rays are 90 degrees apart. But let me just turn it this way so it's a little bit easier to see. So it looks like a right angle. What if I drop my Post-it note in here? Looks like it matches up perfectly, okay? So let me put my box in here, because this will show, hey, this is 90 degrees. I'll put my 90 degrees there. So you could call it a right angle. Hey, this one's going to the left. Still a right angle, okay? Like I said, it doesn't matter which way you turn it. They're always going to be 90 degrees apart from each other, okay? So you could call it a 90-degree angle. You could call it a right angle. Sometimes, not too much, but you might hear it being called a square angle, okay? Because square has 4 right angles, all right? So all 3 names work. We usually just say right angle, but you know it's 90 degrees, okay? All right, let me look around. What do you think? Is this a right angle? It looks a little bigger. Let me just check. So if I put this in, yeah, it's definitely bigger, isn't it? What about this guy? Put my Post-it note over it. Whoa, it disappeared. Yeah, that's way smaller, isn't it? Okay. All right. I think I've. Oh, there's one. Put my box in. 90 degrees. It's a right angle. Okay. Over here, definitely. Hey, this is really short. Does that matter? No, because you could have a right angle that's that big, couldn't you? If it fits in there, it's 90 degrees, okay? So the length of the ray doesn't really matter. And remember, that's just a picture. They really go on forever, okay? So this is a right angle here, or a 90-degree angle, all right? Let's go a little bigger this time, okay? I think we found all of our right angles for the most part. What about this guy? So it looks like instead of this one going horizontal and this one going vertical, they kind of go away from each other. And this is kind of the best way to think of an obtuse angle, that it was a 90-degree angle and then it just got a little bit bigger and the rays started to go opposite directions, okay? So we're going to call this an obtuse angle because it's greater. Put a little greater than 90 degrees, okay? Another day we're going to use some protractors. We're going to measure some angles so you'd be able to tell exactly how big this is. Well, if it went straight up, it would be about 90. I'm guessing maybe about 110, maybe 120 degrees, okay? Let's find another obtuse. So we have a point, we have a shared point. Maybe I'll put it in there. This one's going to the right, this one's going horizontal, this one's going, it's kind of going to the left a little bit, isn't it? So it's greater than 90 degrees, and I can prove that because I can put my little Post-it note in here. Yeah, I think this might be like 130 or 140 degrees. But all you need to know is that it is obtuse. It's an obtuse angle, or it's greater than 90, okay? This one, what do you think? It's an obtuse angle. Obtuse, right? Now, if you look, we have two rays that come out of a point, but aren't they kind of going the same direction? Looks like it's a little bit smaller than 90 degrees. So this is an acute angle. Less than 90. All right, acute or obtuse? Definitely acute. Less than 90 degrees. I'm guessing maybe about 60, maybe 70 degrees. It's kind of like a 90-degree angle that got shortened a little bit. What about this guy? Well, look, it's really, those little rays are really short, so it must be acute, right? It's not about how long they are, it's about which direction they're going. And they're going away from each other, aren't they? So it's greater than 90 degrees. This is obtuse, okay? Let me show you something else here. All right, so you know this is an obtuse angle. The points are going away from each other. What if we do this? This is kind of looking down the road. What if I close up my angle? What shape or what figure did I just draw? Well, let's say all the lines stop here. I drew a triangle, right? This angle right here is obtuse. I made an obtuse triangle. And when you have an obtuse triangle, you just need one angle that's greater than 90 degrees. And it's going to be obtuse, okay? Let's try something different. What kind of angle? Acute for sure, right? What if I close it up? This is acute. Isn't this also acute? Isn't this also acute? I got an acute triangle here. The difference is all three angles are acute, okay? When you have an obtuse triangle, you just need one angle that's obtuse. Because if you think about it, if this one's obtuse and you had another obtuse angle, wouldn't the lines just never intersect again? They'd kind of go away from each other. So it's kind of like you need one big obtuse angle to make it obtuse, but then the other angles have to kind of close back into each other to make it a triangle. All right, acute or obtuse? Definitely obtuse. What's this one? Acute or obtuse? Ah, good. It's a right triangle. Well, let's make sure. Yep, absolutely. What can I put in to show that it's a right triangle? Put in that little right angle box. That way it proves it's 90 degrees. A lot of times if I give you guys a shape and there's a box there, you'll know, okay, this is 90 degrees, then maybe you can figure out what the shape is from there, okay? Looks like last one. What do we have here? We've got an acute angle. If I close it, now we have an acute triangle. So 1, 2, 3 acute angles makes an acute triangle. But remember, you only need one obtuse angle to make an obtuse triangle. You can only have one obtuse angle to make an obtuse triangle, okay? All right, guys, those are angles. I'm going to throw a few more questions on, but I hope you guys learned something new. Oh, you know what? Let me give you a bonus one. I've got a point, right? I got two rays coming out of it. What did I just make? This is actually what we call a straight angle. And isn't it kind of like a right angle plus another right angle? So a straight angle, it's not 90 degrees, it's 180. We're going to talk about skateboarding too, because when you do skateboarding and stuff, you talk about a 90-degree turn or 180-degree turn or a 360, right? We'll get into that another time. But there you go. That's your last angle of the day, a straight angle. You have a shared point, but your rays go the opposite directions. So it looks just kind of like a line with a point in the middle, okay? That's a straight angle, 180 degrees. That's where we're going to stop it, okay? All right, work on those questions. Catch you later. No science and social studies today, but we'll get back into the Civil War tomorrow, okay? All right, have a good Wednesday.